What's going on, you guys? This is Eric Brent coming to you guys live. It's a little warm where I'm at in Latin America, and wanted to first give credit to my team, the Family Cash Machine, which is a great movement, and it focuses about wealth. It focuses on economics and money, teaches the things to people that we haven't been taught in school. As a former real estate appraiser and day trader of currencies, the things that I've learned since I've been studying with the Family Cash Machine and the economics that we have discovered is not taught even in college. So this is what we're about. We're talking about generational wealth. And I know a lot of you guys have heard people talk about generational wealth, especially in the Black community, but you can't have generational wealth without money. You first have to have money, and a substantial amount of money, in order to accumulate and perpetuate itself into generational wealth. Now, let me back up a little bit. The subject title today that I want to talk about is how in the hell do we get in this predicament that we in as a people? And not only asking that question, but how in the hell are we going to get out of this situation? And the other question is, how is it possible to get out of this situation that we're in? Now, I noticed that back in the 60s and 70s, we had a huge movement called started by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which you guys call the Civil Rights Movement. And I tremendously have so much respect for Ralph Abernathy and Vernon I think his name Vernon Maxwell, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King and all those gentlemen that started that movement. There were people actually before Dr. King that started it, and because he was such a prolific speaker, an emotional speaker, and had the ability to resonate with people, you know, they put him in the front, and that was the best choice because some of the speeches I've heard from Dr. Martin Luther King brought tears to my eyes. But I wanted to say that at the time that Dr. Martin Luther King made those arguments, it was time for those arguments, and the right thing at the right time is the right thing. But today the argument is a little different, because at that time when Dr. Martin Luther King spoke about us spending the same amount of money and being pushed to the back of the bus, or being in a position where you had to go to the back of the restaurant, but the menu didn't change for you, and being degraded, but being required to spend the same or more money than people of other colors. That was the argument at the time. And so Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had a quite different viewpoint, because Malcolm X saw that segregation was an opportunity for Black people to actually recirculate Black dollars, and he was right about that. Now, they both were right. They both had different aspects of the argument, but again, at that time, those arguments were made for that time. Now, how did Black people get in the condition that we got into? We had a whole lot of help getting into this position. We had, Greece, we had Rome, we had Britain, we had Spain, Portugal, France. All of these countries had a part in the position and condition that we're in right now. Now, I'm approaching this from an economic point of view, because we talk about generational wealth so much. I hear it all the time, but at the same time, I don't see anybody really talking about the accumulation of assets, which is what actually leads into generational wealth. Every generation, Black people have to start all over again. Every generation, we have to start all over again, because the message in the 60s and 50s was just basically to be able to live a middle-class life. That was the American dream. The American dream was to have the house, the picket fence, a nice car, to be able to take a vacation, and to be able to adequately, proficiently take care of your family, and to make sure your kids had clothes and was able to live a normal life. That was the argument. But today, that dream has disintegrated. You know, the jobs in America are depleting, and there are plenty of jobs under this administration. If you listen to them talk about the jobs, there are a lot of jobs, but they're not the kind of jobs that are going to give you the kind of lifestyle and give you the kind of revenue that you need to substantiate a family. 2 children, 3 children, family, it's very hard to maintain on these type of jobs that they give out. So how do we get out of this condition? And first of all, again, it took several countries and several cooperation from institutions to get us into this economic situation we're in. And the way we're going to get out of it is collective. Now, I mentioned Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and I don't put myself nowhere near on those levels, those individuals. I'm not trying to compare myself in any way. But what I'm saying to you is it's not going to take one person. You know, when Obama was put into office, you guys were all looking for Obama to change the total condition of Black people. And when that didn't happen, you guys were disenfranchised or disenchanted, excuse me. You're disenchanted because you had this fantasy that this Black president all of a sudden was going to change everything. But by the time Barack Obama got into office, I was already under the understanding that no president, Black or white, controls this country. I understood the economics behind the president. I understood corporate America, and I understood the lobbyists and all the different, corporate interests and war interests and companies that perpetuate war that benefit and pay senators to legislate and pass certain laws. I already understood that. So I knew that this intelligent, super intelligent Black man, although he was very magnetic and very charismatic, I knew he didn't have enough power to change the condition of Black people. But many of us were eluded by the fantasy of that. Now, what I did like about having a Black president, because we've had 45 other presidents that were, white, pretty much all white. So to have one Black president gave Black children a very strong imagination and a strong possibility of what they could become. And for that alone, I give Obama credit for. But that's not enough to get us out the condition that we're in. Because there's one thing to see a certain goal, and there's a total another different thing to be able to have a blueprint on how to attain that goal. And that's where we're at right now. We think so negative. And we've been trained over years and years and years about financial condition to think so negative. Not only do we not believe in our people, but we don't even believe in ourselves and our own abilities to accomplish things. And even when we build certain things and do certain things, in the back of our mind is still that doubt. Is this really gonna work? I've done it. My team members have done it. We've all fell victim to the doubt that has been placed in us throughout years and years and years of financial, social, political oppression. And it still exists today. It's just a little different. It's more covert. It's more economic. And so the solution today has to be more economic. It has to be more subtle. We have to anticipate and participate in more of the art of war, because it's war. What's going on right now is war. When I saw Omni the Hellcat, most of you guys may not know about that guy on YouTube. He has a big YouTube following. Omni the Hellcat recently got raided by the FBI. And this guy was one of the guys responsible for you guys having those, what they call the fire sticks. And he made millions of dollars. It's estimated he might have made over $50 million, a Black man. But because he was doing these extravagant videos, he brought a lot of the wrong attention to him. Because we don't live in a world that wants to see Black people prosper like that. Because there's several white companies doing the same thing that Omni the Hellcat was doing, but of course they were not bragging and showing their wealth on TV. Now, personally, I think Omni the Hellcat is a brilliant guy. I like the guy. I think he has a good heart. But I don't think he really understood the art of war in business, and he didn't really understand the enemy's perspective and where they're coming from. And there's been a concerted effort for years to keep Black people down. Nobody can contest that to me. Because why do you have a hip hop task force Because most of your hip hop artists are individuals who come from the hood. They came out of very negative conditions. They came out of very poverty-stricken conditions. And these individuals found a way through their talents and found the way to the rhythm of pain to allow people to dance to that rhythm and to be able to resonate with the struggle. And these individuals become millionaires. But these individuals are connected to the grassroots. Most of these black artists connected to the black roots, come from the black roots, and they become multi-millionaires. Why is that a threat to national security? Interesting. That's a threat to national security. Obviously, for you to assign a task force. Think about this. So the Family Cash Machine, what we're doing is not only teaching you guys about money, but we're teaching you the game of money. We're teaching you the game and how to play this game, and how to be safe, how to be prosperous, how to accumulate wealth, but how to play this chess match very strategically and protect yourself. Because Omni the Hellcat is not the only one that the government has targeted. The government targets a lot of black people who end up making it out of the condition that over 400, 500, 600 years put us in. Actually, it's been over 400 years. It was 400 years in America. But when we date it back all the way to Africa and all the way back to the Greeks and Alexander the Great and all of these other quote unquote great conquerors who came and conquered in Africa and Persia and the Eastern world and exploited the Eastern world. And not only exploited our wealth, but they exploited our knowledge. They took the knowledge that we had, hid the knowledge, they used the knowledge for themselves, and they suppressed the knowledge from us. It's time now for us to come back to that knowledge, because we are the masters and kings of not just economics, of mathematics, of medicine, of science, of spirituality. All of these different things we are the originators of. And so the Family Cash Machine is a strategic group of people who are creating ways to strategically address the issue of black wealth. And we're not just dealing with America, we're dealing with Latin America, we're dealing with Africa, we're dealing with Brazil, we're dealing with different black people around the world who have been discounted, who have been disunited, who have been disbanded, disenfranchised, dissatisfied, and all out throughout the diasporas around the world. And it started with slavery. So the Family Cash Machine is a group of people who are addressing economic issues today, and how do we fix this problem? How do we get back to the basics? And how do we start accumulating assets and start not just accumulating, but protecting those assets? So we have a new classes. We have the Fam Cash Coin 2. We've created our own money. Yes, we created our own money. If the government can create money, we can create money. What is money? Value. What is money? A medium of exchange, something that you use to exchange goods and services. Well, why not we create that? And we've done that through a cryptocurrency called the Fam Cash Coin. We also have classes that we're going to teach you guys, not just about the coin, but about the money in America, the money in the world, the petrodollar, the Federal Reserve, the central banks. How do these entities work? Because again, money is a game. And if you don't understand the game, how do you win in the game that you don't have the rules of? You have to understand the rules of the game in order to engage and in order to conquer. You have to know the rules. And so we're teaching you guys the rules of the game. We're going to teach you guys how to master the game of money. And this is a game that you can't afford to lose, because things right now are heating up. Economies around the world are crashing. Fiat currencies around the world are crashing. They can't stop the fall. What they're going to try to do is continue to borrow money and buy time. But black people have to learn what's going on and position themselves to capitalize. Because remember this, no matter who's losing, somebody's always winning. And it just all depends on what you know. So we're going to give you the knowledge to position yourselves for a huge exchange of wealth and a redistribution of wealth that can actually land in the hands of those who've been oppressed for so many years. It's a great time, you guys. It's a great day. But the message today is relevant, and the message today is different than the message yesterday. So again, it's time, guys, to learn how to come out of this condition. And the first thing we have to learn is the knowledge of the game. And then we have to create tools and methodologies to maneuver. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Grab that link underneath here. Subscribe to this channel. Like this channel. I'm going to keep videos coming out to you guys. And we're going to show you guys how we can maneuver to position ourselves to create generational wealth through knowledge, understanding of technology, and through understanding how money is being made today, and also how to protect it in trust funds and things of that nature. That's what the Family Cash Machine is about. Sign up. We got a free class called The Phoenix. It's a lot of classes there free. You guys can start learning what we're about. Go ahead and click that link, and then I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.